Good day, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today's lesson is Module 4, Our World, Part 2. Our learning objectives today are: number 1, identify the rule of the modal verb must with both the obligation and the prohibition senses. Number 2, identify the rule of the modal verb can't. Finally, number 3, use the must, mustn't, and can't rule in speaking and writing. As you all know, you should have your books open and ready with you. I need the student book to be open on page 47 and the workbook to be open on page 38. I'd like for you guys also to bring with you a blank sheet of paper and a pencil. Okay, let's start our lesson. Read the sentences and tell me, what do you notice? As you look here at these three pictures with sentences under them, in the first column we have, you must buy a ticket. The second column we have, you mustn't cross the street. And the third one, you can't get on the underground without a ticket. What do you notice here? That's right, the words in red, must, mustn't, and can't, are all formed using the present simple, right? Now we're going to go into details with each and every one of these three verbs. So let's get together and start. Let's start with the verb must in the beginning. When do we use must? I'll tell you. We use must to show obligation when something is necessary in the present or the future. It shows internal obligation. The speaker feels that he or she or someone else is obliged to do something. This means it's not a rule, it's not a law, it's not an outside force. It's inside the person himself, okay? It is followed by the base form of the verb. For example, I must repair the roof before winter comes. As you can see in this example, it's not a rule and it's not a law to repair the roof. The person himself feels obliged that he must repair the roof before winter comes. Okay? As you all know that the verb must is one of the modal verbs. Right now, we're going to learn to form it in a sentence. When we say a sentence, how do we start sentences? We've talked about this a lot of time. How do we start? That's right, we start with the subject. And again, the subject could be a noun or a name or a pronoun, okay? After the subject, we add must and then the base form of the verb. What do we mean by the base form of the verb? That's right, we mean that we don't add any letters in the end of the verb. S-E-D, I-N-G, nothing. Okay, let's see the example together. You must wear a helmet on your bike. As you can see here, you is the subject, the pronoun, and then must. After that, the base form of the verb wear without any endings, and then the object that we have, a helmet on your bike. Pretty easy, right? I agree. Now that we've learned about the verb must, let's move on to the second verb we have, which is mustn't. When do we use mustn't? Let's see. We use mustn't to show prohibition, that something is forbidden by law or rules. Once again, something is forbidden by law or rules. This means that the person did not decide this on his own. He didn't make the decision. He didn't feel obliged to do it. It's a rule from the outside. It's a rule or a law by a place or the government and so on. Okay? He does not have control. For example, you mustn't park your car here. This means that the person did not decide the parking. It's an outside rule that you mustn't park your car in this place. All right, it's super easy, right? Okay, Now let's start forming the modal verb mustn't in a sentence. How do we start? That's right, we start with the subject. You guys are great. Yes, after that, what do we add? Correct, we add mustn't. Awesome. After mustn't, what do we add? Right, the base form of the verb. And again, it means that we don't add any letters in the end. Let's see how to form this in an example. You mustn't take pictures in the gallery. Right, very good. You is the subject, and then after that, mustn't, and after that, take the base form without any added letters, and finally, the object pictures in the gallery. As you can see, the person did not decide the situation. It was a rule that you mustn't take pictures in the gallery. Super easy, right? All right, time to practice, everyone. Read and put the verbs in the correct form using must or mustn't. Now, I'd like for you guys to pause the video for a bit and then read each sentence, understand it correctly, whether it's an internal decision or an outside decision, and then use must or mustn't. After you answer in the sheet, get back to me and let's check. All right, let's see. Number 1, yes, it's right. It's late. You mustn't make so much noise. Very good. Number 2, passengers mustn't talk to the driver while the bus is moving. Number 3, there must be something wrong with the engine of this car. Number 4, you must do more exercise to stay fit. And finally, number 5, you mustn't smoke in the restaurant. Great job, everyone. Very easy lesson, right? Now that we've practiced using must and mustn't in obligation and prohibition, let's move on to the third verb we have, which is can't. When do we use can't? Let's see. We use can't to show that you are not allowed to do something. For example, we can't use this equipment, it's not ours. We cannot go to the park now, it's dark outside. As you can see, this is about permission. It's about either you're allowed or not. It's not a rule, it's not a personal obligation. Okay? Now let's try to form the modal verb can't in a sentence. How do we start? Yes, we know this by now. Correct. We start with the subject, which again could be a noun, a name, or a pronoun. After that, what do we add? That's correct. We add can't, right. And after that, of course, we know by now the base form without any added letters. Let's see the example together. You can't use your mobile in class. It's very easy and very important rule as well. You can't use your mobile in class. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. Super easy, right? Okay, practice time. Rearrange the words to form correct sentences. As you can see here, we have scrambled words. We need to put them in the correct order so we can have correct sentences. Pause the video for a bit, answer in your sheet, and then get back to me. And we're back. Let's see the answers. Number 1, you can't go into the restaurant without a tie. And number 2, you can't drive in this country unless you're over 18. And number 3, you can't come in here without a pass. Wow, you guys are amazing. Good job. All right, now it's time to move to the workbook page 38. Exercise number 2, read and complete. Use must, mustn't, and can't. We have the words in the blue box: go, wear, swim, eat, put, and write, we're going to use these verbs and then add before them one of the three verbs that we've discussed before, must, mustn't, or can't. So what I need you to do is, once again, please pause the video for a bit, answer in your books, and then come back to check with me your answers after you're done. Okay, let's check the answers. Number 1, you mustn't eat before you exercise. Number 2, I'm sorry, Tom, but you can't go out until you do your homework. Number 3, bike riders must wear bright clothes at night. Number 4, children under 8 years old can't ride on the roller coaster. Number 5, you mustn't swim after you eat. And finally, number 6, the children must put a helmet on when they ride their bikes. Great job, everyone. I am so proud of you. Finally, let's move on to the student's book, page 47, exercise number 5. And it says, use the ideas in the box and discuss what you must, mustn't, and can't do in the library with a partner. Here, we have the situation where we are in the library. We're going to make sentences using must, mustn't, and can't with the prompts in the blue box. Let's read them together. Talk on your phone. Be quiet. Take books home without asking. Run. Eat and drink. Sleep. And finally, return books on time. Here, on the right, there are two kids. They are talking about what they must, mustn't, and can't do in the library. He's given us an example. Let's see what they said. What must we do in the library? We must be quiet. I agree, and we can't, and he completed. Here's what I want you to do, guys. I need you to pause the video one last time, form your sentences, and then let's check together if we had similar answers. All right, let's check what we got. You mustn't eat and drink in the library. You must return the book on time. And finally, you can't sleep in the library. Very good, everyone. Great job. I'm so proud of you. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you guys learned something new, and I'd like for you guys to complete exercise number 5 with all the prompts that are in the book and make your own sentences, practice more and more, and get back to your teacher if you have any problems and ask them. Okay? That's all for today. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.